Well, we know the figure has the mask because he likes to hide his face. Here's a look at new Trick or Treat Studios, The Scream Greats Series 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween, Michael Myers. Trick or Treat Studios is proud to present the officially licensed Halloween 2007 Michael Myers action figure as part of their Scream Greats Series 2 collection. Scream Greats feature iconic characters from some of your favorite cinematic masterpieces. Each highly detailed figure is an 8-inch scale and is perfect for display in any collection. If you're feeling like Big Joe Grizzly and you'd like to get your hands on Michael, he's listed right now on Trick or Treat Studios' website for $39.99. It's not listed yet as having it in stock, but you can at least be notified when it becomes available. I'd like to take the time first and thank the folks over at Trick or Treat Studios that were kind enough to provide this sample. As for how tall he stands, keeping in mind he's got Tyler Mane's frame, the figure's going to stand quite tall, in fact, at 8 3/4 of an inch in height, or roughly about 22 centimeters tall. Tyler is tall. Look how much taller he is than the first Scream Greats Michael Myers that we got. Tyler Mane, though, is 6'8", while Nick Castle is only standing at 5'10". So I think the sizing isn't that bad at all. He isn't, though, near the size of what we got with the Scream Greats Pumpkinhead, nor should he be either. He is also a lot taller than the other Scream Greats we've recently looked at here. This is the Jeepers Creepers Creeper. Although he doesn't sequel the accessory of having a jack-o'-lantern like the Scream Greats Series 1 Michael Myers, Mane's Michael does, though, include a butcher knife and a bent arm. In fact, when you release him first from his plastic prison, this is the bent arm that he comes included with. Now, in lieu of getting this figure prepped for the rotisserie, I chose to have his with a straight arm instead, but the arm can be so easily swapped out. Now, this is also something, though, that the Scream Greats Series 1 Michael Myers did do as well, where you had a straight arm and then you also had a bent arm. I generally like to have the figure displayed on the shelf with the bent arm, but you can easily swap either one. Before we actually look to swapping out the arms, the figure does also come included with his knife. Now, the knife is quite clean, so it looks like Michael hasn't been busy yet with it. The knife itself is made of pretty soft plastic, that kind of good plastic that you know isn't going to break. The handle itself has some decent painting of brown in there. You can see that there are some rivets, though they haven't taken the time to paint them. With this arm or the arm down below here, both of them can actually have him holding the knife. Now, the other hand is actually more of a gestured hand, so we're not going to worry about that just yet. Just take yourself the knife and kind of just wiggle it back and forth before you get into his hand. Now, you can either have, of course, the knife up. You can also, of course, choose to flip the blade around instead, and then just have it, obviously on the bottom. It does finish the look of the figure rather nicely. And again, you can, just pop the arm off, or I should say pop the blade off, and then swap the arm out if you want. So he has a straight arm, but again, if you want to go with the more bent arm, it's just a case of easily popping it off the peg. Actually, I noticed, though, when swapping out the arms, this was a lot easier to change than the 78 Michael Myers. Again, you're just going to take yourself the peg, and in the cases of the arms, they all have hinges, and just plug it in place. Just like that. Some may prefer to have the look of Michael with the bent arm, especially if you're looking to have the arm up and the knife sticking this way. Again, like he does have more of a gestured hand on the other side, both the skin on both hands looks just grimy and filthy, as he certainly would be as well. I don't think Michael Myers really stopped to take a shower, even when he goes to the truck stop station. That sculpting on his head sculpt. Now, this is really the second time that we've gotten ourselves a Rob Zombie Michael Myers, keeping in mind, again, we've already gotten a 6-scale release, also from Trick or Treat Studios. If you haven't had the chance yet to check out that video, go ahead. Not yet. Feel free to obviously watch this video first. I love the way that they've cracked the mask. Now, I'm not a big fan of Rob Zombie's take on Michael Myers or the Halloween franchise, but I got to say, though, it is certainly making for a spookier looking mask. All the cracks that you can see, they've darkened at least the sockets of the eyes. You can make out that there's still pupils in there, but from a distance, though, it just looks like he's got black, lifeless eyes. The hair sculpt is done well. Also, you can see that they've added some nice chestnut brown to that. I mean, it's a really good head sculpt. One of the things I would still sing the praises for the Scream Greats Series 1 Michael Myers, I think from a stand of 7-inch scale, it's the best Michael Myers mask we've ever gotten. And even though, again, like my feelings for Rob Zombie isn't as great as Carpenter's, but I will say, though, I mean, for the size of this class figure, it is one of the best head sculpts we've ever gotten. Again, you've got some really nice dark griminess, some just discolorations and dirt, just an all-around filthy looking mask, because obviously he just would have stored it away in the floorboards. Then, of course, he's got Grizzly's boiler here, so you got the little patch there on the front, a little patch on the side. It's a really nice looking costume overall. Now, he doesn't have much really in the way of posability, But really, to be fair, he didn't have a whole lot of posability with Castle's Myers either. Now, whereas Myers from a 78 film would have had more of a wider spread leg, they chose to have Maine's legs a little bit more closer together, which is not a bad thing at all. You can see that he does have still nicely painted snaps on the side, so of course he would be able to open up the sides of his legs that way. Really nice sculpted shoes. Those are done in nice brown as well. And in all the cases, it seems like most of the scream grates have all had, for the most part, peg holes. Michael Myers did also have this as well. It does almost even look like the peg holes for Maine's Myers. Maybe just a little bit bigger, but not by much, though. You can even see that they didn't even, like sculpting the feet. You could easily have just taken the same footwear and just sculpted it the same, painted obviously a little bit different. But no, they completely re-sculpted brand new soles, even though it does kind of look like he's got the exact same size feet as Nick Castle's Michael Myers. Yeah, all in all, it's a really nice, well-painted figure. Again, he doesn't really have much in the way of the posability. We're kind of going to go through that together in a second. There's undeniably, no questions asked, does that look like Rob Zombie's Michael Myers? I would certainly say yes. I think really that they could also release this as a convention exclusive. Maybe perhaps, I know obviously the coveralls wouldn't change. The coveralls would be a little bit different because he wouldn't be wearing them earlier on. But yeah, they could also give him as well the jack-o'-lantern mask that he makes from scratch. A little bit of paper mache. You got yourself a makeshift mask. I think that would be a fun figure release as well. Now for the figure's articulation, let's go through things together. The head's going to be on a ball joint again, so you're going to have the full rotation. It gets a little hung up when you try to twist this around because normal heads really wouldn't be able to do that. The head can look down, it can look up, and you can also move it back and forth as well. As for these arms, whether you want to use this arm or you want to beeline it back to the straight arm, they both would work the same way. So again, you got yourself the full rotation. Sometimes though, when you are moving the arm around, that's on me though. Sometimes when you rotate it all the way around, it tends to pop it out of the joints. But again, would a normal arm do that? Would a normal human arm be able to rotate it all the way around? Maybe not. Popping that back though in place, the figure does also have full T-pose options, so you can bring those arms out at 90 degrees. This arm also does the exact same thing too. Although with this one, because you're not swapping it out, I think this one's a little bit more rooted into the torso. These hands do swivel, so there's a little bit of swiveling happening on this hand and on the gestured hand. No articulation here for the waist. Now there is what almost looks to be a line cut right there. Sort of would give the suggestion that you'd be able to rotate this, but no, you can't turn that at all. There is no articulation here for the lower legs either. However, though, there is some posability. Not much, though, but it does feel like the feet do want to wiggle just a little bit. Outside of really already mentioning, this figure could have also been released with the jack-o'-lantern mask. I think there's also certainly an opportunity to reuse the mold again and release a bloodied version Michael Myers. Not that they did do that before when it came to the 78 Michael Myers from the Scream Greats Series 1, but they did release, though, technically the more spruce green, the brighter green coverall for Michael Myers for a very limited run. I still would love to get my hands on that. But I think there's definitely mileage to be made for the mold. Too good of a mold just to be released the one time and one time only. I think, in fact, the Trick or Treat Studios could release the figure in a bloodied version. He certainly does get quite bloodied in the film, and a figure to represent that would really look nice on the shelf as well. While the panicking doctor pleads with Michael to stop, Trick or Treat Studios, has not stopped at all with their Scream Greats line. Having already successfully finished their Series 1, they're now focusing their attention on Series 2. And in Series 2, they're also going back and focusing their attention on the residents of Haddonfield. Whatever your feelings may be, though, about Rob Zombie's take on Haddonfield Halloween, or Michael for that matter, one thing can be clear, though. It definitely makes for a much bigger looking Michael when you cast him in plastic. Now, obviously, they're not using it all the same body. It would be impossible to use the same body as the 1978 Michael Myers, so I do like this guy has a completely different design to him. From the look of the coveralls to the design of his mask, from head to toe, even though much taller of a figure he definitely is a more imposing looking Michael Myers when you display him next to the original. Now, I do like the coloring that they've added to this figure. While he doesn't have, unfortunately, the jack-o'-lantern, he has still a swappable arm, which I've already, again, swapped out in favor of the bent arm, and he does also come included with the butcher knife. Possibilities are endless, I feel, with this mold. Not only could they release, again, the jack-o'-lantern mask, even though, again, I know the coveralls really wouldn't match with that, they could also really display this figure in a bloodied release. Now, they've done also variations of the 1978 Michael Myers, where again he had either like that grayish coveralls or he had kind of more the green coveralls. I feel like they probably could do something similar here with Rob Zombie's Michael. Instead of changing the color of the coveralls, just the decoration that's on it. A lot more blood. Now, good news though is this guy, he isn't available yet on their site, but he's currently listed on there where you can be notified of when his release is. I'm talking about the release of prison. I mean, obviously, if he's getting released from prison, I'm going to be nowhere near that. But when he does get it released on their site, he's going to be released for $39.99, so about a $40 figure. A big thank you again to the folks over at Trick or Treat Studios that did provide this sample of the brand new Scream Greats 2007 Halloween Rob Zombie Michael Myers. Sure, I'm not going to be fitting that all in the title. What do you guys think of this figure? Let me know down below in the comments section. And were you a big fan of Rob Zombie's Halloween? Where do you rank it in your Halloween series? If you guys did also want to stick around for more and maybe check out even the other Scream Greats that I've done for Trick or Treat in the past, popping up at the very end of this video will be playlists not only for Trick or Treat Studios, but also the Scream Greats line as a whole. As always, guys, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.